Hey guys, HuShang here. Welcome to another Starcraft 2 lesson. In today's game, I have a game between myself and Neuro. And I'm going to be using the build I showcased a couple days ago. I know we haven't had videos for a couple days, but I wanted to show you guys a game where I played the double stargate build. And so here we have a game against Neuro. It's a pretty good game, lots of action. Pretty long as well, so you guys should be able to learn a lot. And I'm using the more advanced version, the meta version, which I think is quite good. And so basically what we're doing is making this build look a lot like the Adept Glaives build. So I didn't watch Neuro's point of view, but based on what he's seen, he basically has to assume that this is you know, some sort of Robo Twilight build, because I have the Warp Gate researching right away. I'm making a Stalker first and then going to Depth, so it really doesn't look like any sort of Stargate build. But in fact, we do have two Stargates back here. Maybe the only small tip-off is we're getting these gases. So if he sees both these gases, he's going to know it's more of a tech-heavy build, but he can only see one, so it's not exactly clear that's the case. And then here's the selling point. So we don't actually want more Adepts, but the Glaives build warps in 2 Adepts right now at like 405-ish. So we're not too far off here, warping in 2 Adepts. Oh, actually I got supply blocked a little bit here, so that's unfortunate, but he sees me warping in Adepts, and so what does he do? He starts up some Roaches, and he starts up Roach Speed. So he's already reacting, you know, really heavily to a build that's not actually coming. So behind this, we're going to grab our third base. And obviously this is a fake, so what I did here was I just shaded out in case there were a lot of Lings. Definitely could have been the case. There's a lot of Ling defenses against this build. And we even got a drone, which is pretty sweet. Now, of course, from here, he knows that this is a fake, so he starts droning, but the damage is, you know, kind of already been done. He's maybe assuming that this is DTs at this point. Yeah, in fact, he's getting an Overseer. So now he's thinking, oh, it's not the Adept build, it's the DT build. So he's still really far off from what we're actually doing. And here we are, getting up to 8 Phoenix, which is a pretty solid move out number. You can also move out at 6, but since we're trying to sell this fake, I think a little bit of a later move out is better. I think here's the first time he actually saw the Phoenix. Although he didn't react. Okay, there he is. He's building some more spores. So he does know it's a double Stargate now. But he's already committed to a bunch of Roaches, so we can just kill these for free. Maybe we actually should have went for drones, to be honest. But I was a little bit worried about these guys counterattacking, so I went for the Roaches. Yeah, and so far, like, decent damage already. He's at 69 drones, and we're at 55 workers, so pretty good setup for Protoss. We're also gonna get quite a few more workers, more harassed on here. And back at home, I didn't talk to you guys about the transition in the other video, but in this game, I'm going to play a double robo style. And so this is more of a defensive style, where we're not really going to attack too much. We're just going to play back here, build up our composition, set up for the late game, and eventually maybe go into tier 3 Stargate units if we need to. But already we've kind of pinned him back, and you can see my vision here. I'm checking the 4th bases. as I'm doing this harass, and I'm seeing that he's still stuck on 3 base. And so for me, this is an indicator that he might want to do some sort of aggression, or he's way more behind, you know, than I realize. So I'm being pretty wary here, trying to figure out what's going on. And in the meantime, I'm doing a very standard just kind of setup here, getting my sentries, getting immortals. It's really hard for him to defend this, and the reason it's hard for him to defend this right now is because he opened up with roaches and he delayed his layer a bit. So he can't really get access to hydras as quickly as he would have if he knew I was going double Stargate. So now he's getting up to 75 workers or so, which is where he wants to be. I'm still looking for this 3rd. You notice I haven't taken my 4th yet, and I'm adding on lots of gates. This is because I haven't seen the 4th. So we go to my vision here. This is the first time I see the 4th. And I don't see a lot of drones yet. So here's like 6 drones. This could just be a main transfer, so he could still be on 66. So yeah, in fact, he is still on 66. So it's not really clear that I should be macroing up just yet. I did see these extra drones though, so now I'm thinking this is more of a macro build. And so what is my response? I'm going to take a 4th. So based on what I saw here, all these drones going to the 4th, I know he's not doing a 3 base all-in just with a macro hatch. So I grab this 4th, I start getting Storm. Sometimes you can get Storm a bit faster, but this is sort of a slow build-up where you get lots of immortals, so you don't really need to get Storm too quickly. We also see some hydras, so that's a good indicator. Storm is a pretty good option here as well. And from here, my plan is to do some sort of big timing attack and just end the game. I'm pretty sure we're quite far ahead from here. Yeah, in fact, we're up in supply against the Zerg. So this should be a clean win. These Phoenix could be harassing a little bit more, I suppose, but I know Neuro likes his drops. And so I patrolled over here just to kind of cut off any possibility that we can lose in this silly way. And my goal right now is to secure this base with some cannons, shield batteries, maybe a few High Templar, and then begin to move out, take some more map control. So you can see here, I'm starting to move out. This is a little bit risky, for sure. It's pretty early in supply, so you definitely shouldn't do this if you're not really confident in your micro. It's actually really easy to die. So what I would recommend is you max out first, or you wait until Zerg is going for Broodlords and then go. But here I am being a little cocky, pushing out on the map, thinking we're in a great position, and trusting my my spell casting, which is maybe my downfall here, as you guys will see in a second. But yeah, we're clearing creep out, and I'm trying to stick on an army that's a Mortal Archon Storm. I'm not trying to get any Stargate tech yet because we're going for this big push. And so that's also a little bit of a mistake. I didn't really want to commit to a fight here. I just wanted to kind of threaten him. But he gets a really good engagement here. I wasn't able to cast my force fields correctly because of the fungal, which is super non-standard. So that definitely threw off my micro a bit. And yeah, and he actually cleans us out here. So this is a huge moment for him. Like he was really behind, and now it's more of a maybe not even game, but he's definitely back in the game for sure. And so from this position, I already started getting the fleet beacon when I was pushing. So you don't want this to happen, but now that I'm in this position, I might as well go carrier if I can, and just play it out long term. So we'll see how that goes in a second. Yeah, Infestors, really interesting play from him. Like normally you don't go for Infestors like this, so this is super non-standard. Maybe he felt like this was a good idea because he was behind. I didn't see his stream after, so I wasn't listening to his commentary, but yeah, maybe he thought the Infestors were like a good comeback tool, and they certainly are. So first thing I did, get some High Templars. And now we can maybe hold him off if he does a huge push here. But thankfully he didn't actually all in. I think if he all in, he might have been able to kill us actually with getting these carriers, but thankfully he did not. And so now we're playing a game where we have a pretty decent economy. Even though we lost our whole army, we have access to carriers. This was a little bit annoying, but it's not a huge deal actually that he cancels this. We don't really have enough probes to mine that anyways. The only reason I'm trying to get that is the gas eventually and just securing it. So we don't really need that base. Not a big deal. Get a couple free units there. Almost got this Archon, but not quite. And I'm setting up this huge Zealot attack. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't really want a lot of these mineral units. I mostly want gas units besides the carriers. So I need some way to get rid of these minerals other than taking new bases and making cannons. And so this huge Zealot attack is just a good way to kind of spend your money while getting something done with the minerals. And yeah, this is a huge play for us, right? Like we get a lot of damage done over here. We kill his queens. He has to pull back. We get to trade out our minerals in a nice, efficient way. And now we're getting out our carriers. And so we're in a pretty good spot from here. Like from here, I'm really confident that we can win this game. Adding on some more stargates. I don't know if I can actually afford 5 right now. And immortals, but maybe for later. It also might be a good idea to get a mothership here. Maybe earlier actually when we were on the defensive. Just get a mothership. Because I have these Phoenix, so it's pretty easy for me to just deny overseers. So that might have been a good idea in retrospect. Now here I'm trying out some new harass here. I don't usually do this, but I think this is pretty strong. I think a lot more Protoss should actually be doing adept harass in the mid-late game. Although I should definitely be getting the glaives if I want to go for this type of play. I think it's just super annoying for Zerg. Like 2 adepts can kill 10 drones in like 5 seconds if you have the glaives. So yeah, I think this play is pretty strong. Getting the +2. You guys should be really stressing this upgrade if you're playing carriers. The difference between carriers having air upgrades, like air attack upgrades, and not having them is actually insane. Like you should go try it in the unit tester if you're not aware of how much of a difference it makes, because it's pretty nuts. Okay, here we're gonna trade out our Phoenix. I'm trying to go for a big push, so having these in my army is kind of useful, but I would rather have carriers, to be honest. I mean, they might be good picking up the infestors in retrospect, but I think just having a better army is good as well. That was the plan. And I did add a couple of mortals as well once I saw the ultras earlier, but not too many. I don't really want these too much. I just feel like you need a couple if they mass ultra. Otherwise, the carriers just kind of target the ultra forever, and they really absorb a lot of damage. So, better just to add a couple of mortals. And this is actually a good fight for him. I believe he gets all my High Templar, and he only loses a couple ultra. So, pretty good trade for him right there. But yeah, I mean, he was definitely skipping a lot of upgrades during the mid-late game. So he's really only on what, +1 ranged right now, and my Archons are +3. So I mean, this is a huge factor in the game. I think my carriers are +2 as well. And yeah, what's his Spire upgrades? Yeah, so also only +1. So I think this played a huge impact in the end game. It's just he wasn't really investing in this part of the game at all, really. So I'm looking for an angle here. I sent off the Zealots just to get rid of those. Ours obviously aren't going to help in the battle. And I'm trying to find a fight over here because it's less likely that he's going to have a lot of spores In fact, he does have a fair amount here, but usually they put a lot of their spores over on this side, which is what I was expecting. So I came over here instead. And this is something new I learned. I actually don't play a lot of late game. I usually go for timing attacks. So this, I mean, this is pretty simple in retrospect, but so is everything in StarCraft. Is, you know, what do you control in this endgame battle where you have, actually don't have Storm, but usually you have Storm, Archon, Carrier. And like, do you use Storm? Do you use feedback? Do you micro the Archons? Do you micro the Carriers? There's actually a lot of options. And so what I was doing before was mostly microing Carriers, and I think this is the wrong approach for the most part. Maybe there's some instances where you want to target Broodlords or something, but I think the main thing you should do in these endgame armies is actually control the Archons, especially against Corruptor. So right here, I'm just A-moving everything, the Carriers, and I'm only selecting the Archons. And you'll see this is actually really effective. Maybe I can move these over. I think I did try that in the game and they didn't actually move. But yeah, just targeting the Corruptors is really, really powerful. There you can see all the Corruptors are gone, and now he really doesn't have any defense for the Carriers and calls GG. So a nice little skirmish here with Neuro, a pretty decent game. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this playthrough. If you guys have some questions or you want to suggest some videos for next lesson, then yeah, let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.